Are you expecting perfection?
Ooh, that's
like,
good.
Here's my thing.
That's good.
Here's my thing is, how is it that flawed people are expecting to find a flawless person?
Ooh, okay.
And we all like to say, oh, nobody's perfect. Well, if nobody's perfect, why are you still expecting it? Hey, it's your boy Barry Darius.
And your girl Esther Darius.
And this is B&E's House,
where we establish fun, fulfillment, and foundation for your life and marriage.
For sure.
And today we are going to talk about the problem.
The problem?
The problem.
Whose problem?
Your problem.
Their problem?
Our problem. No,
it ain't our problem.
No. It's a problem. Okay. We're gonna talk about a problem. All right.
Problem. A problem.
So the problem we're gonna talk about is you. The question is, are you the problem?
Am I the problem?
Yes.
Am I the problem?
So if you find yourself in a relationship and you guys argue so much, you want to ask yourself, am I the problem?
Am I the problem?
Yes. Or if you're single and you're trying to figure out, why am I still single and why have these relationships not worked out? You're probably wondering, am I the problem?
Am I the problem?
So if you are that person trying to figure out, am I at the core of all these issues? We have the answer for you today.
Am I the problem?
Yes. So if you are interested in what we're going to talk about, we ask that you like, comment, subscribe, and join in on the conversation because it's about to get good.
Yes. So we're going to ask a series of questions.
Yep.
Right? And if you answer yes to these questions, then you might be the problem.
Yes.
Okay? But don't get discouraged.
Don't.
All right? Because one of the ways that you can resolve a problem is by first acknowledging that there is a problem.
Correct.
And what is the cause of the problem.
All
right. So let's get started.
Okay.
All right. The first question is,
what is the first question?
am I the one that initiates the problems that are being caused?
Okay.
Right? Like, are you the one that's starting the arguments?
Yeah.
Right? Are you the one that's starting the pettiness?
Yep.
Right? You know what I mean? Or are you the one that's instigating, right, the issues that are happening in your relationship?
Correct.
And if you're single, right, and you know whatever that's happening between you and the potential, right, are you it? Are you the cause?
Now, I will chime in and say there are times where you'll get into an argument because of a question, and it does not mean that you're actually the problem. Sometimes the person have a problem with what you're asking. So I would not say that you're the problem in those instances. But it does make me wonder, you know, how can you better resolve certain situations and what is the best way to approach the person? So if that is the case, okay, you're probably not the problem. But if you are instigating, if you are causing issues, if you are just always hot-headed and making the person get annoyed, you might be the problem.
Correct.
And that actually brings me to my next point, which which talks about reaction. Do I have unusual reactions to certain situations?
Yes. Do you have just bad reaction? Like, I could ask in a very nice manner, you know, hey, did you eat my food?
Why you always think I'm eating your stuff? Why did you automatically think that I was the one who was eating your stuff? But why couldn't you ask somebody else? But why I feel like you're always trying to make me the culprit.
I'm trying to ask nicely.
But the thing is, you always seem to think that I'm the one who's taking your stuff.
Can you just let me know?
But no, that's not fair. Why do you always think it's me?
I'm not always thinking it's you. But if we're the only two people living in the house, or you're the only one that's coming into my house, right? I mean, I just gotta ask the question in a very calm manner. But why are you always yelling at me when I ask a question in such a calm manner?
All right, so sometimes it's not that calm, but if your reaction is always to blow up, sometimes you're dealing with offense. Sometimes you're allowing the way that you grew up, and people always seem to assume something about you. You react a certain way. So now if you don't understand yourself, the way that you react, the way that you're supposed to deal with certain things, you're actually hurting your relationships, whether or not you're single or married. So what are the unusual reactions, and are you dealing with them properly?
Correct. All right. So we want to make sure that we react, right, in a way that's not always going to cause a problem.
And that brings us to the next one. When you said cause a problem, it's about the conflict resolution.
Come on now.
Are you good with conflict resolution?
What does that mean?
Okay. Do you know how to resolve conflicts?
Resolve conflicts.
Though the key word is resolve.
Which means you're not brushing stuff under the rug. No. It means that you're not running away from the problem.
Correct.
It means that, that you're finding ways to confront, right, the issue, right? And you're confronting it in a manner that's appropriate, right? You're not just going to the person like, hey,
absolutely.
Hey, we need to solve this right now. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like that's a little abrasive, but there might be some times where you actually never resolve anything. You probably just allow things to happen the way they do, and then sometimes you be like, I'm good. And just because you feel like you good and you're over a situation, you feel like, all right, it's resolved. But it's not resolved. You just over it.
Ooh.
You just feel like you don't want to be bothered by it. But if you never resolve it, that means we can never deal with that. And if you're a single person and you've never really properly resolved certain situation, that means you're going to keep going to relationships, never being able to deal with conflict.
Carrying that baggage right into that next relationship. And now you come into me and you put in this big sack in front of me, and I'm like, what is this? And you're just like,
that's
my
me.
Unresolved
that's
resolutions.
Me.
And you're like, I'm sorry, I can't deal. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want that.
Right.
You don't want that. Okay. And so the next question, right? Because I'm glad you brought the whole thing about conflict resolution, right? Because the next question is, am I clear about what I want?
Well, are you?
Are you?
Does the person understand what you want? Okay, so we got to break it down because we're talking to married and single people.
Correct.
I will do the married. If we're going back and forth about something, and I try to explain something to you,
correct,
but I'm kind of not good with my words, I'm not being clear.
Correct.
Because what can happen is I want one thing to happen, and you're gonna do something else, and I'm gonna get mad.
Correct.
But instead of being clear that that was what I wanted, I just don't react properly.
Or you just get mad and you just stay mad. Or you do something petty that goes back to our first point, right? In initiating a problem now because you're not being clear, right? Or, not being clear in terms of just not talking. It's like, I ask you a question, so what do you want, babe? And you're like, you gonna do whatever you want anyways. It's like, okay, well, I'm trying not to do whatever I want. I'm trying to figure out what you want. But there's a level of just bad communication between the two individuals. And
from the single person's perspective.
From the single person's perspective, as a single person, you always want to make sure that you're clear about what you want in the beginning.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, that's
in
true.
the beginning. Because if you don't set the stage, right? If you don't set the stage, the performance is not going to be good.
That's true.
You know what I mean? You want to make sure that you set the stage right. Put the lighting, you know what I'm saying? Make sure that you direct the people where they need to go, what they need to do, so that you can have a good ambiance, right, of what needs to happen so that we can have a good show or relationship.
I will say this. When being clear, you have to make sure that the person understands what it is that you're really asking about. Do not run around in circles.
Correct.
Do not keep saying, well, kind of, I'm just saying, because just say it. I don't like when you do that. I like when you do that.
In all seriousness, I talk about setting the stage, but you really have to be able to set the standard as to what it is that you have expectation of, right? Your standards, your preferences, right? All the likes and dislikes, so that the other person can understand, consider, and be like, okay, well, do I still want to move forward? This is both men and women, right? Because we don't want to go just not understanding what we want, right?
Correct.
And so the next question, the next
question has to do with your environment. Is your environment dictating your relationship?
Oh, that's a good one.
I know.
Them aunties, them uncles, them friends.
And even things you watch. The thing is, your environment is a makeup of all the things that are around you, that you grew up with, what's normal, what's, just part of who you are. Now, there might be certain things that you grew up seeing, things that you desired, and now they're kind of in your ears and in your expectations. So now every single thing you do for your relationship has to do with what you saw, has to do with what that other person did.
Like them reality shows. Like
that too. And there's nothing wrong with having expectations. There's nothing wrong with having a level of standards. But is what you're doing right now dictating it for the worst?
Correct. Or like you're in a relationship, right? Or you're in a marriage and you're getting these advices, these bitter type sayings from people who are not married or in a relationship.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Or you're single, right? And you're trying to pursue this potential person, and you're getting advice from people who have not had great experiences in relationships, and they're giving you all types of bad advice. Watch out.
Watch out.
Watch out. Okay? Be aware of your environment, all right? And the people who are trying to give you these advices or consultations.
That can actually make you the problem too.
All right? And the next question, the next question. I like this one. All right. Are you expecting perfection?
Ooh, that's
good. Like here's my thing.
That's good.
Here's my thing is, how is it that flawed people are expecting to find a flawless person?
Ooh, okay.
And we all like to say, oh, nobody's perfect. Well, if nobody's perfect, why are you still expecting it? Come on now. And it'd be something like so small.
Yeah.
So small. Like we can't be expecting
a
perfection.
Perfect person. They don't exist. They don't exist. We have flaws. I love you despite of, right? In spite of?
Despite of.
Yeah, that means you're just not gonna be everything right then and there, but we're gonna work on it.
Correct. I think that we have to be patient enough, be willing, and consider like, hey, there's this minor flaw, there's this minor thing that it kind of rubs me the wrong way a little bit, or it's something it's not quite a deal breaker, but I think I could get over it, and try to make this relationship work, right? But if every single relationship you go to, you just nitpicking everything, right? Then you're gonna have a problem.
You will.
You know what I'm saying? And you are the problem that's causing these problems.
Yep. And lastly, since we talked a little bit about expectation, are you a homebody? And are you a homebody that has too many expectations?
I don't get...
Because if you are, that might also make you the problem.
I don't get how we expect to be home or to be in only certain specific locations, right? Like for example, when I was growing up, it was like home,
church,
school, church, and that's it. And for other people, it's home,
rinse and repeat,
work, church, and that's it.
Rinse and repeat.
And then you just somehow expect that I'm gonna find my boo, and
but that's for the single people. Now for the married people, you might be a homebody, and then you're expecting the spouse to also be a homebody. You might be a homebody, and you're expecting certain things from the other person, and they are, the best way to say it, they're not introverts like you. They're extroverts.
Correct.
Now we're using the term homebodies, but that's basically what we're saying. Like,
exactly.
You cannot be an introvert and you're expecting your extrovert partner to be the same way like you. Correct.
And that's why we say, are you a homebody with too much expectation? Like, there has to be a level of compromise.
Yeah.
So these are some things that we got to consider.
We have to consider them.
And if you said yes to all of them, you are definitely the problem. You know what I'm saying? But don't get discouraged.
Don't.
Work on it, because now that you know that it's a problem, you can work on it and say, you know what, let me work on these things. You know what I'm saying? If you said yes to a couple of them,
it's still work on it.
Still work on them.
Because the thing that we wanted to do for this video is make sure that you look within. Figure out what's going on. Figure out why I keep doing what I'm doing. Figure out why I'm still in this situation.
Why do I keep getting the same results?
Yes, that's all it's really about, the results. So it's the same results. If you're getting the same results in your marriage, in your in your singleness, that means now you have to figure out, am I the one who's creating this type of situation for myself?
Correct. You know, so consider, think about it. Don't be afraid to kind of dive in, dig deep, right? And just acknowledge the fact that I might be the problem. Because we're not perfect. We're not perfect. You know, so, you know, be encouraged, you know, as we try to encourage you guys to just kind of, like she said, look within, right? Because listen, all of us, you know, we're always working, we're always developing, you know, ourselves, and so for the betterment of everything. So, you know.
So that's all we had to say today.
That's it.
We hope that you got something out of this. I hope you figured out who is the problem.
Who's the problem?
Who's the problem?
Am I the problem?
And I hope...
Are you the problem?
He never let me finish. You done?
Go ahead.
Okay. And if you did like what you heard, we hope that you join our B&E House family. You like, comment, subscribe. We want to hear what you have to say about this video. And let's find out who really is the problem. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's all we got for you today, y'all.
Listen. With everything that we just said, we still love y'all.
We still
love y'all. All right.
We want you to have a great relationship, fun, fulfillment, and foundation for your life and marriage. All right. So, peace.